What's good, YouTube? It's your man Rage King back with another one. Yes, another upload to the channel. And before we get started, I'd ask if you please go down there and hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that share button, and hit that bell for notifications if you're new. Welcome to Rage Rants TV. This is how we do Rage and Rebels. Crown up. And if you're new to the crew, welcome to the Rage and Rebel Revolution. Now let's vibe. And y'all, in today's video, y'all know every now and then I like to switch it up. You understand what I'm saying? I primarily talk Houston sports. But since we don't really have primarily any news about Houston to talk about, you understand what I'm saying? I decided I'm going to switch it up. Also, y'all let me know down in the comment section if y'all would like me to expand my talk of sports of beyond Houston. Y'all let me know what teams y'all talk about. If y'all just don't want me to cover random stories around the league, I have no problem doing that. To be honest, I'm about ready to do that. You understand what I'm saying? But with that being said, I'm going to still talk about Houston sports. Houston sports will always be my passion. You understand what I'm saying? But in order to keep the channel fresh and to grow the channel, y'all let me know if y'all would like me to expand and talk about more stories going around sports as a whole, and talk about more teams going forward in the comment section. Having said all that, now the rumors of one Julio Jones wanting to be traded from the Atlanta Falcons. Let's speak on it. Now, for those that don't know, been sleeping on the rock, don't know football, Julio Jones is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. I was about to call him a linebacker. I don't know why. He's the best. He's arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL and has been for a long time. Easily one of the most productive. Number one target for Matt Ryan in the Atlanta Falcons, was on that 2016 Atlanta Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl and ultimately blew that 28-3 lead. Excuse me, that 25-point lead they blew to the Patriots. He was on that team. Did a lot of damage in that game too. Ultimately, a game the Falcons should have won, but ultimately didn't. So with that being said, with the Falcons looking like they're going in a full rebuild mode, with rebuilding, as the Houston Texans fans much know, with rebuilding comes the letting go of very popular players. So with that being said, there are two teams that come to mind when I think about Julio Jones going to him. Now, I know a lot of people come out and say the Patriots because of Bill Belichick. I know a lot of people come out and say, oh, with Dallas because, you know, it's Dallas. You understand what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people that'll sit there and say arguably San Francisco or Miami could use a guy like that, which they ultimately could. Don't get me wrong. I'm even hearing rumblings of him possibly going to an Arizona and joining DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know how the cap's going to work with that, but, you know, hey, whatever. But in my opinion, realistically, all jokes aside, there are two teams that come to mind that make the most sense to me as to where I should say Julio Jones should go to. And I don't even want to mention the second team because I really shouldn't, but I'm going to just go ahead and do it for the sake of the video. The first team I think he should go to, Julio Jones speaking of, the first team I think he should go to, the Baltimore Ravens. Here's why. Super Bowl winning coach, NFL MVP caliber quarterback. You understand what I'm saying? A decent to a good defense, a defense that's not going to lose you any games. You understand what I'm saying? A decent O-line and a decent running attack with both a quarterback and a running back that is at least halfway decent. You understand what I'm saying? RPOs all day long. You understand what I'm saying? Deep ball threats, intermediate threats, you know, and adding a guy like Julio Jones would be perfect for the Baltimore Ravens because, like I said, he brings championship experience to a coach that already has championship experience, an ultra-talented, generational talented quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who arguably just needs a top-flight number one receiver to throw to, and he can go from a guy that's just getting you to the playoffs every year to a guy that's constantly got you in the Super Bowl contention each and every season. And here's why I say that. You look at a guy like Pat Mahomes. Look at the weapons Pat Mahomes has, especially when he won MVP. Nicole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. You understand what I'm saying? Travis Kelce. Yeah, and a good running game and one of the greatest offensive minds in football history, and Andy Reid at the helm. Okay, before they stupidly traded DeAndre Hopkins, look at Deshaun Watson. When he had DeAndre Hopkins, he was at his absolute best. Not to say that Deshaun Watson's falling off at all, because anybody could fall off after losing number one receiver, especially to a BS trade like we did, like DeAndre Hopkins was part of. But you look at the games Deshaun Watson had. You don't throw 7 touchdowns in a single game against the Tennessee Titans without having a number one receiver to throw to in DeAndre Hopkins. You understand what I'm saying? Having a guy like DeAndre Hopkins did nothing but further elevate the ceiling Deshaun Watson already had. You understand what I'm saying? He was talented. He was good in the draft. Look, as a prospect, he was looked at as good, and then DeAndre Hopkins took him to an elite caliber. You understand what I'm saying? Deshaun Watson has proved he's elite without a number one receiver, but you can't sit there and tell me that progression of not having a top flight receiver to throw to did not help Deshaun Watson tremendously. I believe it did. Deshaun Watson will come out and say, DeAndre Hopkins helped me elevate and helped me progress to heights probably faster than I probably should have got here. And that's no disrespect to Deshaun Watson. That's just me making a point. I say that to say this. What number one receiver has Lamar Jackson had to throw to? And yet he still was NFL MVP. You see what I'm saying? Now imagine you give him an all-pro, all-world receiver like a Julio Jones, a healthy Julio Jones, with a John Harbaugh, a brilliant offensive mind, a brilliant coach, a Super Bowl winning coach on the sideline calling the plays. That is a match made in heaven. Deshaun Watson. Lamar Jackson needs Julio Jones, and I think Julio Jones would greatly benefit from a player especially like Lamar Jackson. I know a lot of people sit there and say, oh, Lamar Jackson runs too much. Have y'all not seen Lamar Jackson's passing from the pocket numbers do nothing but go up and increase and get better across the board? So not only is he a legit threat with his feet, now he's a legit threat from the pocket. Give him a number one receiver like Julio Jones and tell me he ain't going to do damage. Tell me he not. It's a match made in heaven. RPOs all day, and then you got to worry about Julio Jones, and then you got to double him. That don't do nothing but open up the field for each and everybody else. That's team number one. Team number two, and I really shouldn't say this. Because I do not want to see Julio Jones in the AFC South as a Houston Texans fan. But the other team I think makes the most sense for Julio Jones to want to go to if he wants to compete for championships is none other than the Indianapolis Colts. Here's why. For almost the exact same reasons you give the Baltimore Ravens. You got a Super Bowl winning coach down there in Frank Reich who didn't win a Super Bowl as a head coach, but he was the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles when they beat the New England Patriots in 2017 I think it's the 2017 or 2018 Super Bowl. Y'all let me know in the comment section. He was the offensive coordinator, okay? The Colts just got their franchise quarterback and Carson Wentz this past offseason. You understand? So they got their quarterback. The only thing they were arguably missing was a quarterback, because let's not forget, they still, even though he's getting up there in age and he's maybe lost half a step, they still have old reliable and T.Y. Hilton. You understand what I'm saying? They have a damn good running back. Oh, did I forget that generational talent they got on the offensive line by the name of Quentin Nelson? You understand what I'm saying? You got a damn good defense. You understand what I'm saying? Now you take a guy like Julio Jones and add him to a Carson Wentz and Frank Reich-led offense. Scary to think about, especially as a Houston Texans fan, because you got to play them boys twice a season. You understand what I'm saying? And tell me this. Was Carson Wentz not at his best when he had number one receivers to throw to? And you can sit there and say, well, Carson Wentz didn't work out in Philly for this, that, and the other. Who did Carson Wentz really have to throw to in Philly? He didn't really have anybody to throw to. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, he had a Deshaun Jackson. But tell me, who would you much rather have, a Deshaun Jackson or a Julio Jones? A Nelson Aguilar or a Julio Jones? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, he had Zach Ertz, but he had Zach Ertz, and that's about it. Now, in Indy, you give him the coach that he was striving the most with. You give him a number one receiver in Julio Jones on top of possibly still keeping T.Y. Hilton, having a good running game, having a good defense, having one of the best offensive lines in NFL. Come on, man. It's a match made in heaven. As a Texans fan, I don't want to see it, but I think it would be good for the NFL, and I think it would be good for the Indianapolis Colts if they were to take a chance on Julio Jones, because let's look at Julio Jones, man. He's going to give you production, and tell me, what kind of trouble has Julio Jones been in his entire career? Don't worry, I'll wait. Not a lick of trouble. So you're getting a good character and good locker room guy on top of all of that, and that's both for the Ravens and for the Indianapolis Colts. But that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know down in the comment section which team you think Julio Jones is going to be traded to at the end of the day. Do you agree with me in the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts? Or do you think it's going to be another team? Y'all let me know down in the comment section. As long as you remain respectful and logical, we can have a conversation. But that's going to be the end of my video, man. I hope you enjoyed. It's been a pleasure making it for you. My name is Rage King. I am out, and I'll be back later on with more videos, more commentary, and more good content. Now, hashtag that enough said. See y'all next time.